Mole fails, then Ghana is without wildlife.
Join me as we journey to the untamed wilderness of northern Ghana to meet these last offenders.
The people within the law enforcement agencies don't really know you're talking about a roan antelope. Somebody thinks it's just like a goat.
International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
Good evening and welcome to Today on One. I'm Maggie Forciero. In the news tonight, I worked hard for LPM just to be recalled, says Boyce. Ministry of Health and Social Services says Abortion and Sterilization Act of 1975 fits criteria of absolute laws. 4 young men found in possession of stolen goods. Orlindi Place of Safety in dire need of funds as they owe the city of Windhoek 35,000 Namibia dollars. Former Works and Transport Deputy Minister ventures into poultry farming. And Roundup, Business on One, Comments Corner, Sports and the weather. The Landless People's Movement leadership is under fire with the community of Malta here after recalling their councillor Moses Boyce on allegations that he lives with SWAPO members and drinks alcohol. In a telephonic interview with LPM councillor Moses Boyce, he stated that his leadership handles the cases poorly, adding that he's very disappointed in Bernard de Swartboy.
Malta LPM councillor Moses Boyce said that he worked very hard for the Landless People's Movement and out of nowhere was accused of these fake allegations. He is currently waiting for LPM leader Bernard de Swartboy to meet him with an official response on the matter.
What happened that day was the LOC people here locally, they are having a false allegations. As they said, I am drinking, I am staying with the SWAPO members, or I don't know, even the one that they are saying where I'm staying, with whom I'm staying now is the councillor of the Malta Village Council, who was also elected by the members for these 5 years. I'm just staying with that honorable councillor, but they say we are staying together and I'm sharing all the information of the Yalkin party. The thing that was happened is the people are having a false allegation against me, as they are saying, as I already mentioned. But the thing is, LOC chairperson here locally in the LOC committee, they didn't even handle me in a manner which we can also say this person or me, especially me, was working for a LPM so far. Was all my body and soul. Did I work for LPM here so far? So I'm so really disappointed as I speaking now.
The Landless People's Movement Deputy Leader Henny Faceb said that at a recent press conference that Councillor Boyce was given the opportunity to respond on the matter, but during the meeting he got angry, grabbed his books and stormed out.
Yes, I know of a leadership that went there. They consult the community, including the councillor. Now, what this particular councillor did, I understand he grabbed books and left the meeting. And the complaints have been coming all along. So what, but now, because in terms of natural justice, you cannot just go and fire somebody. You must meet the councillor in the community. So the local structures came, they were having a meeting. After the community reported, or the local organizing committee of LPM reported, no, this is what we are experiencing with this particular councillor. The councillor was then given a platform. I think you must call Operative Secretary Edson Isas. It's him who went, we sent him, was it last week, that we sent him to go and meet the community. Because we believe that we can't just sit here and do, no. He went, so when his time came, whereas he was trying to talk, he just grabbed his things and left. Now about the rumors that he's doing what and what, some of them might be true. Most of them, 99% might be true also. Your sources are quite correct, they are correct. So what we did was, as we did in Marienthal, we recalled 2 councillors, remember? You know these councillors go into in December, they were elected. Already in January, they were fighting. Now they ran to, what is Metcalf and what? Now apparently last weekend they were trying to have a meeting and we are saying, no, we are serious with governance. You see, we are serious to such an extent that even if I mess up, I must go. Or even if a regional constituency councillor mess up, we are not scared to have a by-election there.
Governance 5-year plan. Before even elections, we instructed councillors to bring in their 5-year strategic plan. After they came into elections, they obviously got voted in, and then they had to start with their program. Within those programs, we have 6 months or to 3 months feedback sessions, where we ask in terms of performance, what have you done, how many houses have you built, etc. This specific councillor, and in fact, it was not even a decision that we took that was unfair. Going back also, referring back to the 2 councillors that were taken out, we had about 3 to 4 meetings with them where we came and had a public hearing with them and asked, you can bring in your witnesses, you can have their statements. What is it exactly that is happening? How can we help you as the leadership? We did the exact same thing with the councillor of Malta here. We asked him, we are hearing these rumors about you. We are hearing that you are not performing. Please meet us so that we can see how we can work together. Because we believe obviously in giving people chances.
However, multiple community activists also stated that this is not the first time the leadership is removing councillors without informing the community. The LPM leadership has stated that no final decision regarding the matter has been made as investigations are ongoing.
With trusted quality and great value on all Clicks brand products, switch and save. Buy Clicks antibacterial dishwashing liquid, $37.99 each. Buy Clicks thick bleach, $28.99 each. And buy Clicks antibacterial cleaning products from $49.99 each. Or buy a Safeway steam iron, $284 each. Clicks, feel good, pay less.
During the second session of ongoing hearings on the decriminalisation of abortion conducted by the Parliament Standing Committee on Gender Equality, Social Development and Family Affairs, the Ministry of Health and Social Services stressed the need to review the current legislation on abortion such that it addresses prevailing realities and issues of sexual and reproductive health rights, which includes safe abortion services.
Executive Director in the Ministry of Health and Social Services at the hearing stressed the need to review current legislation on abortion as it is outdated, adding that enacting new legislation that will address realities on the ground will require a holistic approach, taking into account the rights on sexual and reproductive health and the impact unsafe abortions may have on public health.
We want to proffer the recommendations as following below. First, it should be pointed out that there seems to be a general consensus that the existing law, the Abortion and Sterilization Act No. 2 of 1975, fits the criteria put in place by the Law Reform and Development Commission to identify and describe obsolete laws. One of those criteria is that a law is obsolete if it fails to achieve the objective for which it was promulgated. And this act falls squarely in that category. It's also important to point out that, as I indicated, the general public seem to think that abortion in Namibia is absolutely outlawed. But we know that termination of pregnancy can be conducted legally in the circumstances that the law provides for.
Obstetrician and gynecologist Dr. David Mvula at the hearing explained that the legal status of abortion will not affect unsafe abortion levels in the country, further adding that the current law results in clandestine abortions, unsafe abortions, baby dumpings and high mortality rates for poor and young women. Dr. Mvula further addressed public health cost implications involved should the current law be repealed.
We also care about the standing of the ministry, and when it comes to cost implications, it is important to appreciate that treating complications of unsafe termination is expensive. There's no doubt about that. It is very expensive. Patients come very sick, they go to ICU for a number of days, they require antibiotics, it's quite expensive. I'm just added the hospitalization cost for a bed in private practice. It's about 3,800 per night, and on average, sometimes when the patients need antibiotics, they stay in the hospital for a minimum of 5 days to up to even longer, depending on the complications. Most of them, they will need to go to theater for cleaning if they come with these complications. Like I mentioned, incomplete miscarriage, there is still a part of the pregnancy left inside. They need to go to theater to be cleaned to remove that part, because if it persists, this is what leads to complications. There is theater time where it's all about money. Drugs that we use to put these patients to sleep cost money. Anesthetic machine costs money. And the problem that we are sitting is blood transfusion. If you come to any hospital, you will appreciate that the department that uses most blood is obstetrics and gynecology, and that is our department. And mainly we use a lot of blood because of transfusing these women that have bled out because of miscarriages. There's no doubt about this affects, and this is one of the way we are spending a lot of money, especially with the blood transfusion. The biggest spender of blood transfusion is our department.
The City of Windhoek police arrested 4 young men in Windhoek for stealing appliances from a house in Karatura. 2 of the suspects are said to be in high school.
According to police, one of the suspects is from the house and would arrange with other suspects to have stuff stolen.
We went to find out what is happening there, and when we went there, we find out that what actually happened was that a boy from the same home is busy with a group of young ones from school, as you can see. These are the 2 schools that are represented in the crimes. And these 2 boys are busy conniving with the one that is inside, that stays inside the house to go and steal items from home.
The 4 suspects, according to Mvula, waited for the home owner to go to work.
They waited for the owner to go to work, and he called his friends. These are school kids. They went to empty the house. That is starting from television set, DVDs, and they were still trying to steal items from the car. That is the timing belt, batteries, and so forth.
Mvula says this is not the first time these young men are involved in criminal activity.
Basically what happened is that this same house, or rather same group of boys, have been stealing from the same house for some time now. We want to thank the community for giving us information, and of course this should be a norm that we keep giving information to police so that crime can be prevented and stopped in our area. Also the fact that these are school kids, we really need to check out, or rather warn or look at our parenting style.
A neighbor alerted the police after he had witnessed the suspects behaving suspiciously.
I know the Windhoek City is a very big city, and they accommodate a very large number of people. The city police could be busy, then they attending the crime like this one. But on my side, when I report this case, it takes only few hours, and they can even manage to recover my stolen item. I'm very much appreciated to what the city police did to me. They must keep it up. I salute them. I thank the city police.
When the police arrived at the scene, the young men were busy carrying a flat-screen TV, home theater system, and other smaller items. Mvula believes the plan was to sell the appliances for cash, but fortunately for the victim, the police came just in time. The suspects, according to Mvula, made an appearance in court on Monday.
This is my favorite gear, cause it speaks for me and all my brothers. Nivea Men Black and White Deo. With 5 times Deo action to protect you and your favorite gear from stains. Try Nivea's #1 anti-stain deodorant. Nivea Men, it starts with you.
The Orlindi Place of Safety, which was owned by the late Claudia Namises, a safe haven for 27 children, is faced with many challenges, which include debt of a total amount of $35,000 Namibia, which accumulated over the years.
Community Voices proudly brought to you by Namdeb Diamond Corporation. Good today, better tomorrow.
A 32-year-old Rosalinda Namises took over the orphanage when her mother passed on early this year due to COVID-19. Unemployed and with 27 children to care for, she says they are faced with the dilemma of providing shelter for the little ones that are vulnerable as they have been left behind, as well as rising debt owed to the local municipality.
She started it as a little kindergarten at her own house. That was in 1992. And then due to the fact that mothers were bringing their kids, sometimes when they knock off, they don't come get their children. And then there were other people who just bring their kids and they never come to get them. She decided to turn it into a children's home. So the children's home was actually started in the year 2000, meaning Orlindi is now 20 years in existence. So in the year 2001, she moved to Okuriangava. So in Okuriangava, that's where we have been. And in 2011, we moved here, where you guys are, to Donkerhoek. And then, so basically we cater for children. Sometimes they're even brought at the age of 7 days. It necessarily does not need the child to be grown to be brought here. We take care of them from any age.
Namises further said that they have been without water and electricity for about 2 weeks as the services were cut by the city of Windhoek because of debt that accumulated over the years. She is therefore pleading with Good Samaritans to assist her with a bill and other daily necessities.
I would like the public to help us out with our City of Windhoek bill. You won't believe it, City of Windhoek has cut off our water and electricity. That was in the beginning of this month. For 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks, our electricity was blocked. And it was really difficult for us. So if somebody will come in who will help us with our municipal bill, it will really be of great help. Despite the municipal bill, we also need baby diapers and baby formula for the babies. Because the babies are mostly brought than any other children. The babies are brought like on monthly basis. Despite the Ministry of Gender giving us rules and regulations saying that the orphanage should only have children from the age of, we should only have children from the age of 0 to 6. space does not matter to us, whether they're supposed to be 15 children, 10 children, as long as they feel loved, as long as they have a place they can call home, whether they share beds or not, it does not matter to us. For us, what matters is that they feel loved, that they get the enough attention that they deserve to. Because at the end of the day, we want them to be better citizens and to make the world a better place.
Namises further said that they mostly depend on donors who pay for the salaries of the employees at the center. Anyone interested in assisting is welcome to contact the center at 081 237 7519 or 081 618 6280.
Community Voices proudly brought to you by Namdeb Diamond Corporation. Good today, better tomorrow.
James Sankwasa, the former Deputy Minister of Works and Transport, now a retired politician, has taken on farming at his home village, Sikanyabuka, in the Zambezi region.
After stepping down from the world of politics, James Sankwasa has settled at his home village and is now involved in agricultural activities with a focus on poultry farming, grain production as well as livestock.
Yeah, this is an incubator where I've got chicken eggs and the guinea fowl eggs. Guinea fowls start producing from October to March every season when they stop. So I already started operating this 2 days ago, as you can see. That's why it's not full at the moment. Big from the marathon. This breed is a new, it's totally a new breed. These guinea fowls, it started laying last week.
At his farm, he has some equipment in the form of machinery such as tractors that are used to make feed for livestock. The former lawmaker sells the animal feed to the community as well as supplying guinea fowl and chickens.
Making big rolls. That's why you see the grass comes out here. It picks up the grass, and once full, this one opens. It drops automatically. So I'm using this one to bale grass or make rolls for my animals during dry season. I normally do sometimes 7,000 rolls. And for tilling hard ground, I till the hard ground with the ripper, then I bring some disc plows.
Sankwasa also has egg incubators that can take up to 2,700 eggs at a time. Currently he has 8 permanent workers and he encourages those that wish to learn from his farming activities to visit his farm.
Remember the mission, yeah, revisualize the vision, connect to the journey, start early, step 1, step 2, next step, we start at the beginning of what a feeling, the future we believe in, let's start dreaming, N-A-M-I-B-I-A, no matter what they say, we here to stay, so find believers just like you, hand in hand, this is what we do. More steps, yeah, we get through, let's go. Start again, you can. You connected to the world, yeah, we stand. Determined to move on hand in hand. Put the switch on, a new reform, let's rise. Together we rise. MTC, make the connection.
In other leading stories, the National Housing Enterprises constructed 40 houses in the town of Okakarara through a public-private partnership. Officiating at the event, the Deputy Minister of Urban and Rural Development, Natalia Huahuzes, commended the collective effort by both the government and private sector on delivering houses. While noting that the COVID-19 pandemic has led to a decline in the demand for housing in the country, owing to citizens losing income, she also said funds initially set aside for land delivery were also redirected toward saving lives. Hwahuse said after visiting several municipalities, she was pleased to learn that they have made progress in the servicing of land and contributing to reducing the housing backlog, which is at 100,000 units. In his speech delivered by the Chief Executive Officer of NHA, the board chairperson Sam Shivute said the initiative serves as a blueprint for the future of housing development in Namibia. Shivute further said that there is a direct relationship between decent housing and mental health, as well as better parenting. Government, through the NHA, will hand over 72 houses in Karibib next week and another 77 houses in Keetmanshoop in November.
Sy het nog steeds abandonment issues.
Is moontlik.
Maar ons moeite met die sprokies. Ek probeer so hard om my kind gelukkig te maak, maar ek kry dit nie reg nie.
Probeer net help, dis al.
Jy doen niks sonder bymotiewe nie.
So jy hou van die tattoo?
Nee. Maar jy kan nie liefde koop nie. En beslis nie myne nie.
Jy regular.
Am I that predictable?
Jy is 'n gereelde klant en ons net soveel maniere om koffie te drink.
How do you like your coffee?
Gewoonlik swart sonder suiker.
Does black and bitter only pertain to your coffee preference?
Ek hou maar net van my koffie sonder melk. Hoe gaan dit op bal raak slaan na 2 glase wyn?
That was part of my plan.
Wat? Om maar tipsy te maak sodat jy kan ren.
I'm terrible at papa.
Joseph Shifeni is standing by for this evening's edition of Business on One.
Welcome to this evening's edition of Business on One. I'm your host, Joseph Shifeni. The COVID-19 pandemic has brought a glimmer of hope for local producers as Namibians start to notice and support local brands. The pandemic has left many people out of work, which caused them to worry about their finances. This might encourage consumers to turn to local brands as they seek lower prices.
During the Buy Local, Grow Local Namibia second phase campaign launched recently, a number of local producers took the platform to showcase their products. They are very optimistic in how the campaign has helped them to promote their products.
The Buy Namibia, Grow Namibia is not only a hashtag, but it's become a habit. So people are really consciously making the decision to support us locals, and they're doing it by not only financially supporting us by buying the products.
Buy Namibia, Grow Namibia has been assisting us in a very big way. It's my first time being here, but I feel like I've been exposed in a very big way. Today I got to meet so many people. I met retailers, I met investors, so it was quite good.
Following phase 1 of the Local Grow Local Namibia campaign, which was launched last year in October, there has been an increase in support system from the public to buy local brands.
There's one thing that I could say that was quite good of COVID is Namibians started trusting online sales. So that is also where my business is going to.
Yes, every year we face different challenges, and at the same time we are growing, and the locals are really supportive. Thank you, and keep on buying local.
COVID-19 has been a blessing in disguise as more and more business owners are becoming creative in producing home-based products during the pandemic. In the meantime, Namibians are encouraged to continue buying local produced products.
Thank you for watching. Join me again next time, and don't forget to follow us on our social media pages.
More than ever before, football fans demand unique insight and analysis. The Football Review is much more than a highlights show. Bold, provocative editorial that goes beyond conventional reporting, setting the agenda for football discussion. Champions League, Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, Bundesliga, Liga 1, and much more. Want genuine insight with hard-hitting editorial? Need compelling premium football content? The Football Review. Best, bar none.
Are you a CMAS member? Did you know that should you need medical treatment, you have access to quality private hospitalization, guaranteed specialist treatment in private hospitals across Namibia with Complement Gap? Complement Gap is a complimentary product for CMAS members only, which covers the shortfall between what CMAS pays and private hospitals charge. You and your family have more than 2 million in medical gap cover per year at a very affordable price. That's not all. You also have access to emergency evacuation within Namibia and $10 million international travel cover for those unforeseen events abroad. Take the financial burden off your shoulders, invest in your family's health. SMS GAP to 999 555 and we'll contact you. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi there, parents. Do you have primary school kids and want them to get extra quality supplementary lessons to up their grades? Then simply switch to One Africa TV's #LearnOn1, where your kids can get maths, English and science lessons every weekday from 9 to 11 a.m. with repeats from 2 to 4 p.m. And thanks to NMH's MyZone, these lessons are 100% Namibian. There's so much to learn with #LearnOn1. Invite learning in.
Time now for Comments Corner, your daily dose of comments from our social media pages. The Namibia Students Financial Assistance Fund, together with the Ministry of Higher Education, Training and Innovation, handed over HP and Lenovo laptops to students from various higher learning institutions such as the International University of Management, Walvicha, University of Namibia and Namibia University of Science and Technology. This initiative is part of the government's effort to assist students in accessing e-learning. Agustinus notes that the minister does not hear the challenges faced by students, while Chibangapi wants to know what about the students from the Lincoln University. And the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Gender Equality, Social Development and Family Affairs will, for the next 4 days, hold public hearings on 3 petitions received by the National Assembly on abortions to explore various stances on the legalization and non-legalization of abortion in Namibia. Gabriel and Bernice say no to abortion. That is all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast only on Today on One.
Oranje-Munt, established in 1936, from which point onward CDM, now Namdeb Diamond Corporation, provided every service, the schooling, infrastructure and entertainment required for the people of the town. The winds of change is blowing over Oranje-Munt, which is no longer a closed town.
This ship was commandeered by King Charles III, and he actually sent a knight to Spain to go and fetch some money from investors, because they wanted to go and fetch some spices in India.
When we were kids, the mine delivered milk, bread, and black paper, black plastic bags for your rubbish, and cleaned your garden. did the maintenance of your house, you had furniture already installed in your house.
Time now for today's sports update with Castro Ulumbu.
Welcome to Sports on One. I'm your host, Castro Ulumbu. Established in the early 90s, the African Institution Management Services has introduced an AIM School of Sport program that is aimed at professionalizing sport through education and training with a national recognized qualification. Last week, AIMS hit a milestone as they launched their accredited sport qualifications in football education and sports education. Today on One Sports has more on this story. AIMS Chief Executive Officer Reynold Huahoub stated that the idea to introduce the AIMS School of Sport program is a reflection of the strategic plans to develop sport enthusiasts and to professionalize sport through education and training. Describing ASOS as the organization's premium brand, AIMS School of Sport aims to create opportunities for sport enthusiasts and sport athletes to have a professional career by offering qualifications in football and sport education.
Sport, in our analysis, we have realized that it is not, number one, offering a career, not an official career. Number two, we have also realized that the athletes themselves that are in the sports industry, they are not, they don't meet the basic requirements to enter the job market. They don't have the necessary skills to enter the job market. Now, the first qualification is in football. It is football education and practice. And the second one is sport education and practice. Both these qualifications are level 3 qualifications. I must say that these qualifications are entry-level qualifications because that's where we saw the need is. We were aware that institutions of higher learning is offering sports administration slightly at a higher level than the group that we have targeted. Now, these qualifications mainly is to stop the trend of losing talent that could have contributed towards the economy of the country. These qualifications will empower the students that we are taking in from football or from any other sports course into becoming or at least getting a career out of football. This qualification alone will not address the total issues that we have, the challenges that we have within sport. It requires that all the stakeholders must come on board. The government must come to provide the policy framework. The other players must come in creating the conducive environment, and we must come as players to ensure that the package is completed.
Delivering the keynote address at the event, Deputy Minister of Sports Emma Gantema Gaumas described the moment as a milestone for sports in the country.
This is for us in the sports sector, it's really a very good initiative that we would like to support. We remain committed to our quest to professionalize sport as it is reflected in the Harambee Prosperity Plan under the objective of the social progression pillar, that of improved quality of public education and sports. Just imagine as a sports person, you retire at the age of 34, 35, and all of a sudden you have to deal with the issue of unemployment. You have no means of income, or you have nothing to offer to the society. This is why private sector investment in sport education is very crucial. It's not only meeting development objectives, but assisting in maintaining a decent quality of life of our sportsmen and women.
Sports enthusiasts are urged to apply for the accredited sport qualifications in football education and sports education offered by AIMS. And that is all we have for you tonight. Join us again next time for Sports on One. And don't forget to follow us on our social media pages.
Thanks a lot, Castro, for the latest in sports. Time now for the weather forecast. A look at the weather forecast. First, an advisory from the Windhoek Met Office. The deepening surface low over southwestern Namibia will cause strong winds over the interior to persist. Cool afternoon temperatures due to the advection of cold air will persist from the west tomorrow. Heavy falls are expected over the southeastern parts on Thursday evening, so please do take the necessary precautions. The Namibia interior partly cloudy and cool to warm in the extreme west, otherwise partly cloudy and cool to hot with a few to isolated thunder showers over the eastern half of the interior. Scattered thunder showers are most likely over the Otterdam-Juba and the Commerce region in places. A fresh to strong northeasterly to westerly wind will persist with a chill factor in the interior. The coast partly cloudy and cool with fog patches in the morning and the wind light to moderate northwesterly. With that, we've come to the end of this evening's edition of Today on One. From me, Maggie Forciero, and the rest of the team. Till next time, good night.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
I like rhinos. I like them very much. Future here in this area is depending on the tourism. The future generation, they can see and they can benefit from their own resources. Animals like rhinos, elephants, the big five, you benefit from them and it must be respected. You are not feeding the rhinos, you are not giving them order, so it's a free business. I take two of my sons, which was little bit 5 years old. They were young guys. So they asked me questions. Why are we here? Why are we sleeping here? I told them this is our resources and this is our future. My first memory of going with my dad is that I learned new things. As I grow up as a man, I see an opportunity in it. So I decided to look for a job pertaining to tourism. So that's when I was employed at Palembang. So I decided to go for tour guide studies, because I grew up with the tourism industry, the wildlife, the rhinos and everything, to bring that experience to the tourists. You can see the hyena. The biggest change is I was employed, getting paid, and also I can now support my family.
It's a cultural thing. It's coming a long way. Even if you go to area like Tweefontein, area was a lot of paintings. You will see rhino engravings on the rocks. That is an indication that the interaction between human, especially the local communities, and wildlife is dating back. That intimacy relationship is coming for a long time.
We are right here now at Palembang, and Palembang is one of the big lodges in the heart of the desert. And as you can see there is Jumbo standing behind me, which shows it's really a tourist area. We do have elephants, lions, but as you can see, the desert is the heart of the rhinos. This is the main breeding area of the rhinos, is what we found here in this desert.
It's the largest free-roaming population of black rhinos that you find outside national parks in the world. It's a population that communities in the northwest have taken responsibility themselves in managing this population with the structures that government has put in place, more specifically the establishment of conservancies.
These people, before independence, they took it upon themselves and decided that wildlife is our heritage, and through history we've been living with wildlife. And having wildlife in your area is like having a garden.
Because of all these animals, we've got the communities that benefit from all this wildlife, and it's like a triangle that fits into each other. And the communities looked after the wildlife doing their own thing, and the communities benefit.
So already there were this intergenerational relationship between mankind and wildlife, and that bond is what our people actually wanted to see continuing.
Very few countries have the wildlife that Namibia has. What is also important is the policies that Namibia has put in place, which also involves communities to be engaged in the management of the wildlife species and also to benefit from the wildlife resources.
Turn conservation into a rural economy, turn conservation into endless opportunities that would actually cater for those young people that have nothing else to do.
If it was not for rhino economy and tourism in this area, it was really difficult for young people to get or find a job.
We are conservation engineers. We make conservation work in an unfenced area, and through that, we want to turn the wildlife into the rural economy that will benefit the rural communities.
So we can see now wildlife is doing very well, the lodges are doing well, and the community is also benefiting. So it takes all three together.
Devastating hit over coronavirus fears. Airline industry is facing its biggest threat to travel since 9/11.
Since March, when COVID-19 hit Namibia, things actually become very difficult. In the first place, all the lodges closed down because of COVID-19. With us, Save the Rhino Trust, we had some donors cutting on their funding. And then we had, in the same time, a poaching case of 2 rhinos that was poached. We had less boots on the ground, and poachers could actually see. Now each our chance to go in and do something. So COVID-19 was tough on all of us. Ginger Morning, who is one of our trustees, actually came up with the idea of, why don't we ask you to go to buy some gold for us and make gold bars, and then we sell them for rhino conservation.
I was fortunate enough to have a chance to have lunch with Clive Johnson, the CEO of B2 Gold in Vancouver, Canada. And I looked at Clive and I said, you know, we've got rhinos, you've got gold, let's do something. Let's create a coin or a medallion or a bar using your resource to create a sustainable source of funding for rhino conservation for the future.
There was it. The gold was bought, the bars was made, and I think it was 31st of January that we launched the bars in Windhoek. And suddenly one morning I had an email from my office, from my finance person saying, these people don't have salaries. So I said, oh, what now? So I picked up my phone and I phoned Mark Law. I said, Mark, I've got this problem. He said, but when we've got the fund already ready for you, you just have to apply, put a proposal in.
1,000 ounces of gold can make an enormous difference to the livelihoods of the communities that live up there. We are, in essence, providing income and providing a livelihood to the communities. In the absence of tourism, especially now with COVID-19, even prior to that, when we had such a bad drought, the communities became even more dependent on the natural economy.
The idea is to make this a fund that will last for the next 25, 30 years, or even longer. And a portion of that will be distributed immediately as needed. And in this case, the COVID-19 crisis necessitated us to distribute funds to pay salaries to help people in the field.
The proceeds of the sales from the gold bars will be going towards responsible NGOs. And we've identified Save the Rhino Trust as the key NGO. And IRDNC, one of the first organizations that was in the Northwest, integrated rural development and nature conservation, so that ultimately the funds go to the communities and various aspects of their war on poaching.
To be able to support those hardworking men and women that are always in the front line between the poachers and the rhinos.
If it was not for B2 Gold and the golden bars, I think by now we should have been in big trouble.
By extracting the gold, you reinvest it in other renewable resources.
The gold that's coming out from the ground is actually protecting the wildlife that's working on the ground, which is a very good symbol for the others.
I wish this was my bar. This is the 500 gram gold bar. So you'll see on this side you've got the Etindeka Mountains and you've got the mother rhino with her calf. And then on the reverse side, we've got the serial number, you've got the Rand refinery stamp, which is very important. Anywhere in the world, people will recognize the stamp and they will know that this bar contains 99.99% gold.
It is gorgeous.
We wanted to make a biggest contribution. And at Ballowwood, we see that as a way of giving back to the community.
Okay, so there you'll see the 500 gram bar.
Very special.
Feel the weight. It's incredible.
This opportunity which presented itself is absolutely a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
We're privileged to have this.
This is just absolutely gorgeous, and I think this showcase really what the project is all about.
It's from 24 karat Namibian gold.
I'm looking at these rhinos is put there like Miss World photogenic, I would say.
There are only 1,000 of these gold bars, rhino gold bars, in circulation.
As far as I'm aware, it's the largest single donation of any corporate to the conservation of biodiversity anywhere in Africa.
Therefore, we so much appreciate and would want to continue as a government to work with B2 Gold.
And the fact that it's happening here in Namibia is something that we can all be extremely proud about and very grateful to B2 Gold.
Thanks to having this literal pot of gold through the funding for the Rhino Gold Bar, we're able to step in now and make sure that those trackers are supported, and so are their families and their communities.
We make sure that people sustain their jobs going forward, and who doesn't want gold?
And the B2 Gold Rhino Gold Bar has come in at a really critical time now, particularly with tourism being closed off and those forms of revenue not coming in.
To say we have the biggest rhino population or black rhino population in the world, let it be for the rest of our lives. And it's that heritage that we have It's our resource that we can all look after and protect.
It's our heritage. And it's also good that other people like Peter Gold are also seeing it that way.
It's actually a very nice link between the investor that buys this gold bar, the rhino tracker in the northwest of Namibia, and the black rhinos. It's an intergenerational thing. The rhino trackers teach their children how to track rhinos, their children get taught, and so it flows down.
This is something that I want my children to have, and that we leave a little bit of a B2Gold legacy. And if I can be part of that as part of my family, I'd be very proud.
It can also become an inheritance for the generations of my own clan. My children, my grandchildren.
If we can bring that passion over to future generations and to hand that over to my children, and I hope that that same passion for conservation gets migrated over to my kids.
And what we've done together is create a sustainable source of funding that should outlive all of us.
You know, I think as far as B2Gold is concerned, we couldn't have chosen a better target in which to put our efforts as far as the environmental and conservation pillar is concerned. And I want to stress there that the money that's going towards environment and conservation is actually going towards the people.
Rhino is for all of us, whether you are in Canada, whether you are in Vancouver, whether you are in the US. If you really want to see conservation at play with rural communities, I therefore humbly request each and everyone to join us on our Rhino tour and have a wonderful experience. This is what keeps rhinos on this planet.
I've done rhino trekking experience. It was just amazing walking in that landscape of the Kunene. And as we followed them, we could now find rhinos with the calf. We got the closest distance we could.
It's a warning sign.
And it was just amazing and lovely, something to experience that Namibia can offer. It's something that you have to do in your life.
Prevention is important. Help prevent the spread of illness and keep yourself and others well. Hand washing is one of the most effective ways of preventing the spread of germs. Wash your hands regularly with soap and hot water, scrubbing your hands thoroughly for at least 20 seconds. Hand sanitizers can be used but are not recommended as a substitute for hand washing. Use sanitizers in addition to hand washing or in a situation where soap and water are not available. To avoid spreading germs, limit sharing of personal items such as utensils, cups, and dishes. Your skin acts as a barrier to germs, but your eyes, nose, and mouth are more vulnerable. Wash your hands thoroughly before touching your face, eating, or drinking. Avoid physical contact with others, including handshakes, fist bumps, high fives, hugs, and kisses. Social distancing is deliberately increasing the physical space between people to avoid spreading germs. While regulations may vary by country or area, the best guideline for social distancing is to maintain a